So here's my Vermeer BC 1000, and it suddenly stopped feeding brush yesterday. And I've had that happen before. And behind this panel are a couple of fuses. So we took them out, checked them, and that was not the problem. And another issue was behind this feed wall and behind that door, some switches that click on and off. Those were not the problem either. Let me show you what the problem was. That loose spins that freely. It's broken. Okay.
It would spin, huh?
Yeah, it was spinning just like that. BC 1000 Vermeer chipper. RDO equipment here in California. The feed wheel stopped turning. It's no longer in there, as you can see. There's the hood, or the cowling went on top of that, held it down. I'll give you a view from the backside. So there is the chipper drum itself. The feed wheel's gone. And here I have it jacked up to let the feed wheel out. The feed pump. And here is the shaft. This is what broke. Yeah, the feed's in this side, the pump fits in there. I thought maybe I just broke a key, and that's why it quit feeding. The wheel spun very freely. So I pulled the pump off, that pump, for this shaft, and it came out together, and I knew there was trouble. So you can see on top, looks like it had cracked a long time ago, and it just finished it off recently. So there it is. There's the hole. I'm sorry I didn't videotape us actually pulling it out. We used the excavator, John Deere 35G. And we just put a strap around the wheel, connected it with a strap around the hooks for the bucket, lifted it out. Now I got to pull out the inside of the shaft. It's got some Allen bolts inside of there to make sure nothing else broke, but I think it's just the shaft broke, and hopefully I can pull that out, make sure if there's any seals or anything in there that they're okay. So just letting you know, anybody who has a feed wheel stop turning, they said it was rare, but it did happen. And they actually have one in stock, and they quoted me about $120 for the shaft. I'll try to get some videotape of it going back in. Okay, that's all of them. All right, we got all the Allen head screws out of there. After you pull those 6 screws out of that bushing, you put 3 of them back in the grooved slots and tighten them up until it starts pulling that bushing out. We had a lot of trouble with that to the point of where we had to put a lot of heat on it. Actually turned it pretty red to actually get that to start loosening up. But it worked, it came out, and we were on our way. Here is a picture of the broken shaft, the 2 pieces side by side. And here is how tall or long it is when it's put together. These pictures are just of the bearing that was inside. That was also where the shaft had broke off. However, this is not the original piece. These are brand new ones that I took a look at and got pictures of. And I even have the close-ups of the bearing number if you happen to need that. I didn't replace mine, though I kind of wish I could have. They didn't sell the bearing separately, so I didn't replace the bearing. They wanted $700 for this piece with the bearing in it, and I said, I'll find the bearing online and replace it myself next time. So if your shaft is good shape and it's not broken, you can't turn this. It's stuck. It only rocks back and forth a little bit. So that's one way to know if your shaft is broken. But if that keyway inside were to break, it's possible that it would spin with that as well. So the first thing you'd want to do is pull that pump off the side and see if key is broken, if half the shaft comes out with it. But if this thing spins freely like it did in the beginning of this video, you probably have a broken shaft. So I've been using the chipper for about 3 days since I repaired the shaft. And as you can see, it seems to be working just fine. I didn't want to get too anxious and show it too soon, only to find out that I had another problem. But it worked just fine.